Hello and welcome to Scott Bryson Beyond the Service. I hope everybody's doing well tonight, wherever you might be. I have a very special guest. I have Mr. Tucker Holloway. He is an outstanding college football player for Virginia Tech, but he's more than that. He's blood. He is my cousin's son, so I think that makes us second cousins. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I feel more like an uncle to him. He's a special young man, and he's got a promising future ahead of him, and I can't wait for you guys to get to know him. And more importantly than that, he is a Christian man. He has a strong faith in Jesus Christ. And Tucker, just welcome to the show. I know you're pressed for time, brother. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. No, I'm, you know, more than happy to be here. I watch all your stuff, and I couldn't be more thankful for what you're doing. Even if we weren't related, I'd still be tuning in. So I'm excited about this. It's something I've been looking forward to, and it's a privilege.
Well, you're very kind. So, um, you've seen your dad preach some over the last few years, and he's had to put these bad boys on. So just understand that Father Time's undefeated, and then for me to see my notes, I'm going to have to put
Yes,
my
sir.
glasses on from time to time. Luke fusses at me because he says there's a glare, but if I don't put them on, I can't see. So we're going to just jump right into this
Hey, do what
interview.
you got to do.
Yeah, we're just going to jump right in because I
Yes,
want
sir.
the audience to get to know some things about you really quickly. I introduced you to the audience a second ago about your football career currently at Virginia Tech. So let's talk about that for just a minute. We'll spend most of the time talking about that, but we'll talk about different things. What's been your biggest um, I guess your biggest piece of advice you would want to pass on to a younger person regarding the game of football and how it relates to life? You know, football is an awesome sport. In my opinion, it's the best sport because it
Hmm.
teaches so many life lessons about team and hard work. What's been
Yes, sir.
some things that you've taken away from football on and off the field?
Yes, sir. I think first thing I would say that kind of my mindset when I think about the game of football. I heard someone say in another podcast actually one time. They said, football is a great hobby, but it's a terrible god. And so for me personally, like I love the game of football. I absolutely love it. Like I can't wait for game day in 2 weeks. I couldn't be more excited. I love the game. I've grown up playing the game. It's been my passion for a long time. But it's even more than that. It's awesome because it's taught me lessons and things that I know I'll apply directly to the rest of my life. The hard work, the time management, waking up every morning, and right now we're in the middle of fall camp. I'm at the facility from 8 in the morning to 9:30, at night most days. I just got home not long ago. It's pretty late. I'm about to just get ready and head back in the morning and just repeat day after day after day. So it's taught me a lot of things when it comes to just the grit side of it, the hard work. What you have to do to come to work every day and do what you got to do to make sure that the standard is set and that you're striving and making strides forward to win games ultimately. But I'd say, if when I'm talking to young people about, the things football's taught me, whether it's something that they want to do, whether they're trying to play, at the next level, or just talking about the way that I've lived my life these past, three going on 4 years now, and the things that it's taught me. I start out always with just control what you can control. I you know came from a really really small town, really small area. Not many people even go to college, and way less even make it to play football at the next level or a sport at the next level. And then the Lord brought me a long ways, obviously, from being there to being where I'm at now and being able to compete at Virginia Tech and the ACC and one of the best college football environments in the world. But at the same time, when I think about it and I look back on how I got here, I'd say, obviously my walk with the Lord being the first and foremost thing that I put before football. Football is not my identity. It's something that I love to play, and it's my passion. But I also understand that like football is a gift from God. So I try to fall in love with the giver, not the gift. And through that process, also just fall in love with the process and controlling what I can control. You know, having the opportunity to be here, it's nothing short of like living out my dream, truly. But you know, I just ultimately focused on what I could control. At the end of the day, you know, college coaches, high school coaches, uh, transferring different schools, all that, everything that goes on to get, you know, someone uh, to where I'm at today. Um, you know, ultimately controlling what you can control. You can't control what the other dudes on the team do. You can't control what the coaches do. You can't control what the, you know, school does. But at the end of the day, focusing on what, you know, the task at hand is for you personally. That's kind of been something that my mindset has grown and changed into over the past year, 2 years, 3 years, even back into high school, and it's just allowed me to grow into the man, you know, that I've become today, where I feel like I can really uh, live just at peace, because I know that at the end of the day, the Lord's just called me to be faithful with what is in front of me, and, you know, what I can control. So that's something I'm gonna, you know, use in real life, and I use in football on a day to day basis. I can't control my playing time, can't control my you know, uh, if I get the ball or not. But ultimately, what I can control is, you know, what I do, how I come to work, the attitude that I do it with, the level of intensity that I, you know, practice with, all those good things. So, you know, that's probably the biggest thing that I would say when I talk to young people, or, you know, someone who wants to maybe try to do what I get to do. So,
Yeah, that's great, man. I tell you, I've watched Tucker grow up. Obviously, I've seen behind the curtain, so to speak. But for the people that are watching him tonight that you don't know, I mean, you just heard firsthand. This is a young man in his early 20s, and he's an old soul. He's got the wisdom of a 40-year-old man. I loved what you just said. You said a lot. You know, there's a lot to unpack right there. But you said a couple of key things. You fall in love with the giver, right? Not the gift, or not the sport itself.
yes,
And
sir.
there's a lot of wisdom in that, because everybody's going to have their last game, right? For some people, most people, it's high school. And then for a few people, it's college. And then for a very select few, it's pros. But at the end of the day, everybody's got their last game, right? And whether you're 18 or 48, and maybe like Tom Brady or whatever, but I don't know how old he was when he quit. But like, there's a last day, and you have your head screwed on right. And I know that, you know, much like Tim Tebow, I mean, I don't think Tim Tebow got to live out his NFL career like he should have, because I feel like the league was against him for his outspokenness toward his faith. But I mean, nevertheless, we give too much credit to people, right? The credit goes to God, because God gave him a platform for that season, and he's moved into doing different things. So I think this football platform is amazing for you. Whether your last games are at Virginia Tech, or you make it to the league, or whatever it is, but while you're in this season, in this chapter of life, I know for a fact that you're maximizing what the Lord's given you, and I'm just really proud of you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, and it means a lot to me. And um, man, the opportunity it's been nothing short of what I was, you know, hoping it would be. And man, I love it. I understand that ultimately the gift of, you know, the game of football and the abilities to play it that's from the Lord. And so, you know, I try to go pay that rent every day, because I know that it's a gift. And so I'm just thankful for the opportunity, and, you know, I know that ultimately the gift is to use the platform that I have because of it for, you know, the Lord's glory. So, man, I love it.
Well, I wish I was a fly on the wall, because I know you're doing big things you're doing kingdom work up there, buddy. And I'm in your corner. I know our entire family and all your friends. You know, you got people that I don't know, obviously pulling for you too. But just super proud of you and love you so much. And I know you know that, but I just wanted to say that publicly. But anyway, take us for just a second. Let's transition to game day, because you mentioned that as well. I remember that I played football for 2 years. I got tired of getting beat up. I was nowhere near as talented as you are. I was an outside linebacker and a walk on, so I kind of got tired of getting beat up. But I do, for the 2 years I played, I did enjoy game day, right? And I remember what that was like way back in the Stone Ages, right at App. So walk us through, because if you haven't been to a football game at Blacksburg, you're missing out. You really need to check that off. That needs to be a bucket list item, because that place is electric.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. You know, exactly what you said. I think, me personally, you know, I think every football fan, whether you're a college or a NFL or whatever. If you're a football fan, I think going to a game at Virginia Tech, coming to a game here, it needs to be something that you scratch off your bucket list. Like if you have an appreciation for the game of football, you just need to get here for a game. There's nothing like it, and I say that from a place of experience because I've played a lot of places, and before I played, I went on visits to a lot of places, and I've been to games at really good stadiums, the ones that are in the top five, and those are great, but I think Lane Stadium is just definitely different. The game day atmosphere, what I tell people is so different about it is, you have other stadiums that are cool and that are laid out and hold, 100,000 people. And that's cool. Like that's definitely a lot more people than we can seat in our stadium. But when you go through that tunnel in Lane Stadium and we come out the other side, uh, for us it's the advantage, but for the other team, I can only imagine them seeing it for the first time because those stands go straight up and down, like they're literally right on top of you. And for us, obviously, it's an advantage, so I'm thankful. But as you know, if I win the Hokie, I'd be terrified to play there just because of the way that the fans sit right on top of you. It feels like literally, they're right there on the field with you. And so that's why they call it the Terror Dome. It's definitely an intimidating place to play for an away team. But yeah, there's nothing like game day in Blacksburg. Enter Sandman is one thing, but last year I was hurt, so I had the opportunity to I wasn't some of the game days I wouldn't be with the team while they're doing all the pre-game stuff, so I would stay at my house. The home teams, we stay at a hotel the night before the game, so that way we're all together. We have all of our meetings, but I didn't have to do that a few games. I stayed at my house that way I could sleep in my own bed, knowing I wasn't going to have to play because I was hurt last year. And I got to get around the town a little bit on game day and just understand and see how big Hokie Nation is. It's crazy. Like the town shuts down. You can't 4 hours before the game starts. You can't go anywhere. Like you literally just have to figure out a place to park and then go ahead and just head towards Lane Stadium because it's crazy. It's insane. But yeah, our fans are awesome, and it's just an electric, environment, and I love it. I couldn't be more thankful that I get to play in the environment, but not only just play, but be on the good side, because I'd be terrified to play in Lane Stadium if I was on the other side of the ball. So, man, it's so fun, and I love, I think I've kind of got the reputation now especially as a punt returner, that when the ball's in my hands, I got the opportunity to make some stuff happen and bring a spark to the game. And so I always loved like the opportunity. As soon as I catch the ball, I can hear the crowd start to get louder and louder and louder. Whether I get tackled or I take it for however many yards. But it's so fun. Like the fans, Hokie Nation is different. I remember I came in as a freshman and I went to a restaurant downtown. And now I'm fairly established. Most people know who I am in the town. It's a pretty small town, but I remember even as a freshman, I went to a restaurant and I walk in and the dude was like, "Dude, you're Tucker Holloway." And like I'd been on campus for like a week. I'm an early enrollee freshman. I'm probably like weigh 170 pounds. Haven't even been in a snap of practice yet. And so, and the dude knew exactly who I was. And that's Hokie Nation for you. That shows you what it's about. Like they're invested. It's a football school, and that's a big reason why I came here. Was because I wanted to go somewhere, where it's football school. This is what we do. And so, we're working now to get it back on track where it's supposed to be, and I'm excited about the opportunity for it.
No, it's amazing. And this is going to sound like such an old man comment to you, but it's a beautiful campus. I mean, it is just the football stadium's amazing. And I've been to some games at Blacksburg because, Ashley went there, whatever. But, um, you know, the stadium and game day there, it is amazing. I've been to some really cool stadiums and there's some other cool places, but that's way up there on the list for me. It might be number one. It probably is number one for me too. But the campus is just gorgeous. Like Blacksburg itself, like I could live there. I really sometimes think, I love college towns. It reminds me a little bit of Boone because I went to App, and Boone's a small college. If it wasn't for college, it wouldn't be a whole lot there. So just amazing facilities all around. What's the, I don't know if you know, what's the highest level it's rated on the Richter scale? Because sometimes the stadium gets to rocking so good, they say it hits on the
Yeah.
Richter scale, doesn't it?
No, yeah, it does. It does like way more often than it should, to be honest with you. I don't know, like I don't know what the scale is, but you have to look that up. But no, like multiple games we've hit on the scale just because of how loud the fans are and how crazy it is. And then literally like we had Metallica come and perform a concert here in Lane Stadium, in this at the end of the semester this semester, and it was way up there on the charts. And so, dude, it's crazy that place. I'm telling you. And again, like I'll say it again. It's the fact that the stadium it goes straight up and down on each side. I'm telling you that's why. Because I've been to Tennessee and Michigan, and like those stadiums hold a lot of people. They're holding 100,000 people, and so that's a good bit more than we have. But I've never been in a stadium that when I'm on the field and it's third down or we need something, a big play, that there's a place I've been that's louder than Lane Stadium. There's just not. It's crazy.
Well, it's funny. I've been to Michigan before as well, and it was so anticlimactic. I mean, I'm not a big Michigan guy anyway, but like I went up there, watched them play App, which App should have never gone back because they beat them one time. You're not beating them twice, and so I went back for the repeat, which
No,
was a
that's exactly right.
mistake. But it was weird because it's down, right? Like I thought it was up, like it's down. Like the when
Yeah.
you walk in to go down.
Uh-huh.
And I've never seen a stadium like that. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
No, it's different.
let's transition a little bit. Who's had the biggest impact on your football journey and why?
Hmm. Yes, sir. That's a great question. And honestly, it's crazy because I don't know that I've had someone ask me that question specifically. Um, but I think it's crazy because you'd probably say a coach, realistically, but I would still honestly say my dad, just because. So my recruitment process, I started that really when my recruiting was supposed to get going for real was when COVID hit. And so I really had no way of getting recruited. And if we like, first of all, if we go back a little bit, um, a few years before I started getting recruited, me and my dad had a good, tough conversation. You got to have those conversations every once in a while. And it was pretty much, I think football is going to be the way, not basketball. I come from a hoop family, so and we had that conversation, and going from there, um, you know, we made that decision, and then it was, he asked me, "You want me to push you or no? Like, do you want to go play Division I football or no?" And I told him, "Yeah, and I'll do whatever it takes to do it." And from that day forward, we worked, our butts off, him and me. It wasn't just a one-way street. We hit the gym every day, and I went to the field every day. And even when COVID, moving forward into when COVID hit, um, I, as a white receiver, honestly, like most coaches, most college coaches, even with really good high school film, they want to get eyes on you in person. And so going to camps was the way I did that. And so when COVID happened, we didn't really have the opportunity to go that year. And so I knew the next year I was going to have to hammer college camps to get in front of coaches and get offers to have the chance to play. And so, man, my dad, he bought in, and my mom, she drove me to plenty as well. But um, they bought into that process and knew that it was, gonna, with the Lord's provision, it was gonna pay off, and obviously it did. And so I'm thankful for that. But man, they drove me all the way across, all the way across the country. We were going all over, driving all over, just for the opportunity for me to perform in front of a college coach. Because they, my parents believed in the the idea that I could do it, and the Lord blessed me with the ability to. And so, honestly, even though I've had coaches completely form and and make me into the football player I am today, realistically, I'd still have to say my dad, just because of the fact that if it wasn't, for both of us and pull my mom in there working, I would have never even made it to Virginia Tech. And so I'm super thankful for that. And obviously, we still talk every day about the game and how I'm developing and all that. But yeah, man, I'd have to say my dad, just because I would have never even made it to uh, Tech or a Division I football program if it wasn't for my dad being a go getter and helping me transfer to a school that I needed to play football and pushing me into that. Honestly, that was something I didn't want to do in high school, but him pushing me and deciding that together through a lot of prayer, and then obviously, like I said, driving me all over the country to get in front of college coaches and that paying off.
Yeah. No, I kind of thought you might say that, but you never know. I mean, and that's, I felt like that was a good question. I felt like it's a tough question. And I don't think some things in
Yes,
life
sir.
are black and white and some things are gray. I feel like that you gave a black and white answer, but I think, you know, a lot of times it could be a couple of people, right? So you threw your mom in there too, because I know that, she,
Hmm.
a husband and wife, that's a team, right? Mom and dad's a team. So I think,
That's right.
yeah, I was kind of anxious to see what you would have to say about that. But you pretty much said what I anticipated. So
Hmm.
that's good stuff. So, what do you have? I know you probably are a lot better at this than I am. I am definitely not a theologian, but as far as like favorite Bible verse or verses, is there anything you'd like to share with the general public that I know that faith is a private thing too, but it's also we need to go out there,
Hmm.
and share the faith as well. What Bible verse or verses uh, resonate with you, Tucker?
Yes, sir. Um, I think it's funny because I'm sitting here. I'm at my desk. This is my room. I live in about 100-year-old house. Most of my teammates live in really nice apartments and have NIL deals in apartments. I live in about 100-year-old house in the town of Blacksburg, and I feel like I'm part of the community. I love living in the old house here. So I'm sitting here at my desk though, in my fairly small room, and in front of me is just my wall, and it has probably, I don't even, let's see, it's probably got 50 sticky notes on it. And a lot of them are verses, a lot of them is just certain parts of verses from the Bible. I've got so much stuff on that I just write down, whether it's during my Bible study, whether it's something that I learned just throughout the day, the Lord speaks to me through. Um, and so I wouldn't say, like a lot of people say they have like a life verse. I don't know that I had necessarily have like a life verse, because I don't know. Like every month I'll have something different that I'm like, dang, the Lord's hitting me with that this month. Like this is my verse for the month. Um, but ultimately, man, I love going back to. I write on my eye black. I write "Son of the King," and that was something that, like, literally, I was just sitting by myself one day, a few days before a game, and it came to me, the idea of writing that on my eye black, through reading the scripture, reading about just like the victory that we have in Christ, and that being the forefront of everything else that we do. As a believer, like especially for me and what I get to do, what I have the opportunity to do playing college football, man, it's a nerve wracking thing. It's a scary thing. It's not easy. You're going against the best of the best every Saturday. I'm trying to return punts in front of 70,000 people every week. And so it's not something that's easy to do, and it's something that, if your identity is in the game of football, it'll let you down a lot, because you're not always just riding high. It's a tough game, and you're going to take some losses as a team, but also individually. And so for me, like that idea, that theme, and you see that throughout Scripture, throughout all the Scripture, just the idea that, like, the battle is already won ultimately for me. Like, my identity is in Jesus and who he says I am. It's not in the game of football and what it says I am. And so it gives me the opportunity to go literally just have fun and play the game of football, play the game that I love, and enjoy it, for what it is. It's a game, and it's a gift of that God's given me the opportunity to play. And so, like, if there's anything that I can encourage, other men, other women, whatever it is, any level to do. It's just man, put your faith in Jesus, because ultimately that really leads to a life of being able to live freely. I know, I can go play football and have fun because I'm son of the King of Kings, and so at the end of the day, that's what matters. The victory has already been won. Jesus won that victory, a long time ago, and he wins it every day. So, man, that's kind of my whole theme, especially in college. It's been my whole, um, my big thing. Again, I write it on my eye black every single game, and so that's a big thing for me. Even though, man, the scripture is, like I said, right, even right here, it's all over my wall. Um, but yeah, I love that. That gives me strength and courage to go play the game I love.
That's good stuff, man. I sort of feel the same way. Obviously, there's a few that stick out. John 3:16. How can you not like that one? Right? It's kind of what it's all revolves around. But like it just when people ask you that, it sort of feels cliche to say that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's what's in your heart. God knows what's in your heart. So I I, I
Mhm.
have several that I am fond of, but yeah, I think through different seasons and different chapters in our life, so to speak, God definitely, He definitely gives us different verses at different times when we need it, even if we don't know we need it. So
Yes, sir.
we kind of went in what that last question sort of bled into what I was going to ask you next, um, about faith on and off the field, but I think we've touched on that. So let's just talk for a second. And I know you're younger than I am, but you're an old soul, and uh, you're much like our family is very unique in the fact that yes, we all have made mistakes, and yes, we're all sinners. But I don't think peer pressure has really ever been a thing. I know peer pressure never was a thing for me, and I don't think it is for you either. Um, I know your genetics, and I know your dad couldn't care less what people think either, and your mom, but or any of us really. But having said that, every bad decision Scott Bryson's ever made has been my decision, and we all sin and we all fall short. The Bible tells us that. But like, I don't think peer pressure has just never really been a thing for most of our people in our family. I don't think. So I want to I preface that. I preface this question with saying that because I know it's not a thing for you. But how has being
Mhm.
a devout, true, real life Jesus lover, Jesus follower, how was that transition like going to a secular school? And I love tech. Trust me, I love it up there. But like it is a secular school, right? So
Mhm.
and you're around a bunch of dudes. The locker
Yes.
room's got 100 dudes in it or whatever. So what was that transition like? And
Yeah.
and did you find yourself a minority, or the world's a crazy place. It's almost like it's trendy to be against the grain now, right? So maybe more guys are coming to the faith. Like you saw all that
Yep.
stuff with Ohio State. Talk to us a little bit about how that transition from high school, small town, to being in a big pond, and also being a man of faith. How that worked out for you.
Yes, sir. Um, you know, First of all, like exactly like you said, um, for one, I struggled for sure freshman year, just trying to figure out which way I was going to end up going, as far as stand firm in the faith and be rooted or not. And, it took me a little while to figure out who my people were going to be, my friend groups and all that good stuff. It was tough. And obviously being on a team, uh, that doesn't have that many believers on it, that was very tough. But I think it's cool because if we look at, and again, I know this question was a little bit more towards me, but this is also, I think, just kind of the result of standing firm in what I believe and kind of creating that atmosphere within our team.
Mhm.
And it's not just me. There's a lot of other dudes on our team now, especially that are strong believers and that are for what the Lord is trying to do on our team. But ultimately, kind of how you said, for one, there's been a lot of people that have tried to just like debunk what I'm doing, whether it's on the team or it's outside and in the school, and um, you know people that that are obviously sent just from the devil trying to work his ways as well. But I think at the end of the day, it's really cool just to see the result of faithfulness. And again, I've not been perfect at all, as a leader in FCA, as a leader on the team, as a Christian man, as the example that a lot of guys on our team are looking to. Like, I have not been perfect, and I 100% understand that, and will admit that any day of the week. And there's still things that I'm trying to learn, and the Lord's teaching me, and trying to figure out now. But what I will say is cool is, we haven't had like a revival like Ohio State had. But what I will say is when I got here as a freshman, I remember the first Bible study I ever went to for our team. And I showed up and there was like four other dudes there. And I was like, dang, like, holy cow, we got a lot of work to do. Um, and I just remember being like, wow, like this is it. The whole team, we got a team of 125 dudes and, we got four or five, six people six guys at Bible study. And, man, I think it's cool because now, let's say, fast forward to now, if you were to show up at one of our Bible studies that, let's say our main Bible study that our chaplain actually leads, and I get to lead a few of those, but we have our smaller ones within, groups where we're trying to more so disciple certain dudes. But then we have our full team like Bible study that again is voluntary. It's not on campus. It's at my chaplain's house on a Sunday night, late. But dude, we'll have 30 dudes there,
That's good.
which is just insane because I remember wanting through the recruitment process, wanting to go to a school where I felt like I could have impact, not just on the football field, but off the field for the glory of the Lord. And so it's crazy because like when I think about that, it blows my mind. Like every time we have a Bible study, and we'll have let's say we have a low number, and have 15 or 20 dudes show up. I'm like, holy cow, like this is awesome. Like this is a community of dudes who are hungry to hear the word of God. And it's been cool because that's from the top down. Our head coach does a good job. He's, opened the doors for our chaplain to lead chapels before games, on our off days during camp and stuff like that within the facility. So it starts from there down, but then after that, just the leaders, whether it's in FCA or it's some of the dudes that are believers on the team, and me just getting together and just being open to share the gospel and be bold about what we believe in. Ultimately, whether you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, or college, or you're working, you're at a job. If you establish yourself early on, and that's hard, that's really hard to do. And I struggled with that a little bit my freshman year, and I had to kind of figure out how I was going to do that after. And even now, I'm still trying to figure out a way to establish myself as a believer. But dude, if you can establish yourself, then and people know what you're about, then that creates an environment. Even if it starts with one person and it bleeds on out to more, where the gospel is a healthy conversation. It's not something that's cut off, and there's a stigma where we don't do that. We're college football players. We're too good for that. We're hard. Like this is what we do.
Yeah.
That's something that's got to be cultivated amongst the team. That isn't something that just happens. And so, we've seen that happen. It's been awesome. Like that's, a testimony to the faithfulness of our chaplain, Brother Dave, and what he's doing, and a lot of other dudes who have been faithful to just stand firm. And that doesn't always look like that definitely doesn't always look like just sharing the gospel with every teammate. Like there's a time and a place, but even just the, knowing what you're going to stand firm in, like being invited, like dude, I get invited to go drink all the time, I get invited to go smoke all the time, go party, like, and just being like, oh no, I don't do that, like it's not my thing, like I'm a believer, like I'm a Christian, I don't drink, like small stuff like that, just knowing where standing your ground and where is not. So
Yeah.
It's been cool to see how that's cultivated, within the community. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff, buddy. We'll stand firm because I know you're under attack. The further we get into our relationship with Christ, the more we're going to be under attack. The more good stuff's going to happen too, but the enemy's going to attack you even more. I've experienced that in the last couple of years. I feel like my faith's grown even as an older guy, right? I'm north of 50, and I just sometimes I can feel spiritual warfare. I believe in spiritual warfare. I know you do too. Like the spiritual warfare is a real deal. We can't see it, but it's all around us.
Yes, sir.
And I think that I think it's just human nature too, by the way, that people gravitate toward winners, toward people who are good at things, whether it's Michael Jordan or Jerry Rice or whatever sport or whatever musical instrument you could play. Like if you're good at something, if you're really good at something, your craft, people gravitate toward that. And then you know if you happen to be a Christian, then it's kind of like rope a dope, and I don't mean that I don't mean that to be bad. Like, but there's a time and a place. You said that a second ago. It's like faith without actions is dead, right? So it's like sometimes people just need to be loved on.
Mhm.
Maybe the homeless dude needs a
Yes, sir.
hamburger. He doesn't need to be told repent or you're going to hell. Like he just needs to be loved on, and then you build those
Yeah,
relationships. I know I'm preaching to the choir with you,
that's
but
right.
like you you build those relationships and you foster those
Mhm.
relationships, and then you know people well, like, why are you different? And then you have an opportunity to explain it to them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's so good. No, you're that's awesome. That's right on the money. That's what we call relational ministry, and that's what it's all about. Because if people don't think you're genuine, they're not going to listen to what you got to say or what you believe in. So, yeah, man, that relational ministry, that's what it's all about, and that's what we've tried to cultivate here amongst the team.
Yeah, that's 100%. And you have to, it kind of goes hand in hand with like the whole integrity thing. Like, even if you're not a believer, but you have to have integrity, right? Because once you lose your integrity, or like I like to say street cred, right? If you lose your street cred, you're done. Whether it's in law enforcement, if you lie about a case, whether you're a business person and you crap somebody out of some money or you cheat on a test, whatever the case may be, you have to have integrity. And I think my question I always ask these people that are non-believers is like, where do you get your moral compass from? Have you ever entered into any um, what I would call a good debate with like a non-believer? Like, Charlie Kirk's a master at it. He goes around and he just destroys people. But like,
Hmm.
that obviously would not be your intent. You're not trying to, embarrass people or whatever. Not to say that he does, but you know, that dude's super smart, by the way. His brain's about that big. But um, have you encountered anything like that in class or in the locker room or maybe with a coach? And I won't say any names or anything, but maybe like a non-believer giving you some grief. And have you
Hmm.
had an opportunity to make some like uh, I don't know, some just some logical points?
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying for sure. Yeah, I have most definitely. I have on the team before, and I have in the classroom before.
Hmm.
The classroom gets tricky because you got to know when to stand your ground and when not to. Because
Hmm.
there's times not to because people are so irrational with the way that, especially at secular universities. And again, like just like you said, I love Virginia Tech, dude. Like this is my home. Like I love it here. Um, but again, it's a secular university, and so you've got people who are so irrational that
Hmm.
you'll never be able to have a real conversation
Yeah.
with them. So it's knowing when you're completely outnumbered. I remember one class specifically that I could tell as soon as we got in. I was like, I'm outnumbered here, you know. And me and you are the same type of people, and so we're cut from the same cloth. And I don't back down to a fight, but like there, I knew there were certain things being taught in that class that I was like, man, I would love to at least have a conversation about this, but I remember not doing that because of you know sitting back and listening to those that classroom talk about certain things at different times and understanding where I was.
Hmm.
But then on the other hand, the last semester actually, I had a class, and it was a smaller class. It was my last semester before graduating, and so yeah, I was in a class of just a few people, and man, we had some great conversations about the Lord. It was addiction and family class,
Mm.
and it was awesome because we had some really good conversations that I don't, from what I remember, never got heated. And that's a kudos to the to people that were in there that didn't agree with me,
Mhm.
that were maybe on the other side. Um, but uh, yeah, no, that's something that I've for sure encountered not only on our team but in the classroom, and knowing when to stand your ground is a good thing
Yeah.
because if you can have a conversation with someone that could change their life for
Yeah.
forever.
Hmm.
And sharing the goodness of the Lord and what He's done in my life and who He is, man, that could change someone's life. But then also knowing when to not even start that conversation is there's part of that there as well.
Yeah.
When you're in a classroom of 40 people and most of them are way 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 on the left side.
Yeah.
So it's just how it goes. So um, but yeah, and then on the team, man, it's I don't know that I've ever had a debate. It's funny because I think I had way more debates in high school. I went to a pretty different out there school. My last 2 years of high school, I went to a private boarding school, and we had people from all over the world,
Mm.
all different walks of life, raised differently, and so I had a lot of debates in high school with people where we'd get into it for you know a while about certain topics. The topics that, like you're saying, get brought up and when Charlie Kirk is talking, and all those dudes, and so. Yeah, and that's part of life, And as long as if I can have a conversation with someone, I'll talk about it all day long. We
Mhm.
can talk, we can debate, But once it gets to that irrational anger on the other side, then it's like
Yeah.
you might as well drop it right here and walk away. Not going to get anywhere. But yeah, I've had those conversations, and that can be a good thing.
Well, you just never know when you're going to have an opportunity to speak life into someone. But like to your point, they have to be willing to listen. I think uh, back in the day they had debate club, right? And it's called civil discourse. So we agree to disagree. That's fine, but let's just have a conversation. But people can't do that anymore. And I think people like us who are very conservative minded. I'm a conservative minded guy because I'm a Christian. That's the part. Like I don't even think I'm a Republican anymore. I just consider myself a conservative Christian. I think the Republican Party does some crap that I think's
Yes, sir.
jacked up too. So it's like I identify myself as a Christ follower who therefore makes me conservative. But yeah, I mean we're wrapping this thing up, Tuck. I mean we could talk on here for 2 more hours about theology and faith and all the great things. I think for me, what I was going to say, and I didn't want to turn this into a political debate or not debate, but a topic, but because I know we agree, but um, I couldn't be a Democrat just simply based on abortion, just that one topic. I mean, pro life, bro. Like, how can you not be pro life? And so, if you're not willing to have that conversation and just have a conversation, then you're not gonna convince them anymore. They're gonna convince me. And so it's like you might win the battle, but you'll lose the war. And to your point, it's like you have to have situational awareness. You got to be able to read the room, man. You know that's what it's all about, being able to read the room. So that's all I was gonna say about that. But man, I know you're tired. I know you're tired, and I know you got a lot going on. Tell us. Let's end on a high note. So, what you guys are starting your season off down? Did you tell me down in Atlanta? Is that what you told me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks from now, we'll be kicking off. We play in Atlanta on August 31st against South Carolina.
Oh man,
For in the like Aflac kickoff weekend for football, for college football against South Carolina in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Falcon Stadium. So
what time's kickoff?
that should be fun, man. This should be an awesome one. 3:30. We play at 3:30
I'll make
on the
sure I have all my
31st.
yard work done. As we approach football season, I'm trying to get my yard work done on Thursday and Friday so I can enjoy. Because I mean, I'm a loser on Saturday. I mean,
Hmm.
I'll sit there and watch game day for 3 hours with no problem, and then I want to watch football all day. I'm a
That's a
little bit
good
of
thing, man.
a
That's
little
how
bit
it's
of a
supposed to be.
loser. Oh Lord.
Dude, that's how it's supposed to be. That's
Oh man, it's fall. Of course, you're a deer hunter too. We have a lot in common
hmm
because, well, we're blood, but we love football, we love deer hunting, we love the Lord. I don't know, man. We love America, we love women. I mean, I love my wife. Don't get it twisted, but it's like we got it figured out, bro.
Hey, there's not a better. I don't think there's a better life.
Hey, if you don't
That's
like
how it's supposed to be.
if you don't like it here, there's airplanes that leave every day. You can fly your butt over to Canada or wherever you want to go, right? I mean, you don't
Go
have to
wherever
be
you
here.
want.
Golly.
That's right.
Uh, well, uh, I know my daughter plans on coming up to Blacksburg at some point this fall. I don't think she's invited me. I think she's probably going to go with her girlfriends. But I'm going to see if I can finagle my way into a game at some point. I'd love to get up there and watch you do your thing in person. I'm not asking for tickets right now, by the way. I'm just telling you I plan on coming up. So I know you probably have a long list of
Yes,
people
sir.
wanting tickets, but um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
best of
let me
luck,
know.
man. And just one last thing before we do go, where I can't keep up. There's just so much going on in my life and family and stuff. Are you a junior? Are you a senior? Where are you at in the pecking order as far as at school right now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I am. I actually, so I'm going into my fourth year here.
Uh-huh.
I graduated in the spring though with my first degree, so I
Uh-huh.
was done in 3 years of my first degree,
Yeah.
and then I did my internship this summer,
Uh-huh.
and I've started grad school now, so
Yeah,
I'm
very
I'm
good.
in that right now.
And I should have asked. I didn't.
Yes,
What
sir.
was your undergrad and what are you doing for grad school?
Yes, sir. My undergrad. I studied human development with a minor in health and wellness.
Uh-huh.
With that, it'd be awesome because I could use it. I wanted to study something that was like I'd actually want to learn and
Uh-huh.
apply because if not, I think also you know how we are, our blood. I really am not a school person, so if it's not something I'm actually interested in, then I would honestly not just care. And so I really was interested in those classes because for one, I could use it every day in life, and I can use it if I go into ministry,
Uh-huh.
understanding the way that the world gives reason to why we develop the way we develop, and understanding that side of it mentally to be able to provide the truth of why we actually react to things and respond the way that we do,
Uh-huh.
um, and that ultimately point that to Jesus. But
Uh-huh.
and then also, I did that specifically because it would, if I wanted to stay in sports, I could continue to be in sports, but not be a coach.
Uh-huh.
I could coach with that degree, but if if I don't, high school coaching, I could see possibly, but college is just too much as far as, I want to be a family man a little
Uh-huh.
bit more than they get the opportunity to, and, spend more time with my wife and kids. And so I could go with the degree I got, I could go into, like a player engagement, player development role on
Uh-huh.
a college or pro team,
Uh-huh.
and still work with young men and making sure that they're growing and developing in the ways that they need to.
Uh-huh.
But it'd be a little bit more of a 9 to 5. That's
Yeah.
what I did for my internship this
Yeah.
summer, and so I loved it. It was awesome. It's an opportunity to stay in sports.
Yeah.
Doing what I love, but
That's good.
not being away from my family pretty much 24/7. It seems like so. And then I'm doing post grad stuff in like the sociology department. It's a lot of the same type of thing. Um, I was gonna do something completely different and get like a business degree just so be something different. But honestly, I really like what I study,
Uh-huh.
especially being a believer and seeing the way that a secular university teaches that type of stuff. And so I'm going into my grad school stuff doing sociology type of work.
That's good, man. Well, I don't know what's going to be your profession one day, but I know you're going to be super successful when you're done catching footballs. But I hope that chapter keeps going for quite a while. So your family members down here in the flatlands are pulling for you. I know the mountain folks are all in, but don't forget about us. We're all in too, buddy.